You can watch. Stay on it. No, 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 no. Don't get up there. Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. I'm Kristin Omdahl, and we're here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. And today we're going to do another blocking tutorial. Let me get my computer a little closer. All right. So I will have to read, let's see, I'll bring this up here for now so I can read the hellos. Hi Thea, good morning Grace. Hi Lisa, Christine, Thea, Lily, good morning everybody. Hi Joe and Judy, Carla, Angela, Val, Donna, good morning. Hi Gay, Mariana, Lisa, Kira and Jeet, Wendy, Lorraine. It's almost, what is it? It's almost 20 degrees cooler this morning than it was yesterday morning. What a treat for me. It's 70 degrees. When we finished the podcast yesterday, I checked the weather. It was heat index of 88 standing here in the sun yesterday morning. No wonder I was hot. Hi Sandra, Lily, Debbie, Donna, Carrie, Lorraine. Good morning everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Happy Tuesday. Hi Cherie and Bonnie. It's still warm out here and it's absolutely lovely, but definitely easier to handle than the heat index of 88 yesterday morning. My goodness. Hi Sandra and Marcia, good morning. So for anybody who's interested, I'm wearing the fine chandelier earrings this morning in Be So Fine Bling yarn. You can find this pattern on my website. You can find the video tutorial here on YouTube. Judy, good morning, Judy. She's posting a link to my shirt too. You can find this in my Amazon shop. I love this shirt so much. I'll come around for a second so you can see some of the other features on it. First of all, it has a really beautiful and delicate lace trim on the neck and on the sleeve. I think it's just a little fancier than the price tag, but that's my opinion. And then it has side vents here as well, and it's a little bit longer. You can't see because of where I'm at. So I'm wearing it over a jean skirt this morning. Let's see if I go this way and back up, you can probably see more. Can you see more of it now? I'm wearing it with a jean skirt and it has the side vents right there. Anyway, that's that. Hi Regina, good morning. So yesterday, somebody mentioned that they had just finished this shawl and they were getting ready to block it and were hoping that I could do a blocking tutorial on shawls. And I thought, hey, you know what? Why not? As long as I need to do that kind of a blocking video, I may as well do the same shawl. So I thought that would be fun. Yes, it is a tunic length, Donna. You could absolutely wear this tank top over leggings. It's long enough to wear over leggings. Absolutely. And with the side vents as well, I think it would be super cute over leggings. You know me, I just like to wear jeans. Sometimes I wear leggings too, though. Now that jeans come super stretchy, so now that denim is mostly, what did I do? Uh-oh. I don't know what I did to my computer. Did it get overheated? I don't know what I did. Here, let's close it and see if that helps. Does it come back regular? Oh, my screen's gone really dark, so I wonder if it's because it was in the sun. Well, that's unfortunate because I will not be able to read any comments now. So anyway, bear with me. We'll do the best we can here. I'll leave it over there and just in case it comes back, I'll be able to read them, but now I see what I did. All right, somehow I turned the brightness all the way down. Who knows? But there's a touch bar on my computer, so it's very easy to touch things by mistake. Anyway, what I was going to say is yesterday we did the type of blocking tutorial that uses something that's three-dimensional, right? So we talked about the different ways you would block something that has to lay on top of itself and what you can do to make it easier to get that to dry. And we went over how to wash it and rinse it and all that good stuff. But today I wanted to show you some of the tips and tricks and tools for taking something that is flat, that can literally lay flat to dry, but how do we block it to its shape so that we can accentuate the scalloped edge and keep the top edge nice and straight. And we're going to use some different tools to block this piece today. This happens to be a shawl that you can make. It's called the Bonita Beach Knit Shawl Pattern, and it starts at the top here and is a top-down increasing pattern. It involves some feather and fan, so increase, decrease within a row for like a chevron, and then it involves a row of elongated twisted drop stitches, which gives you that really ethereal, lacy look. I'll come closer so you can see it up close. Isn't that beautiful? And it is a one ball project in Be So Fine yarn. Fine yarn when I started the yarn company. It's the very first thing I made. Oh, I still love it too. It's so pretty. Look at that drape. Unbelievable. Anyway, so when we talk about blocking, just like we talked about yesterday, it's important to talk about not only the first blocking to accentuate your shape, but when you wear something, you're going to get the oils of your skin on it, you're going to get the oils from your hands on it, you're going to get perfume on it, makeup on it, dirt, oil, sweat, whatever, pollution, dust, all sorts of things collect onto fibers, just like the reason why we wash our hair and wash our skin and wash our dishes. We have to wash our fibers too. We have to wash our clothes that we buy in the store, and we have to wash the things that we make. So how do we do that? And the best way to do that is with the most natural, non-toxic, chemical-free products we can, so that we don't damage the fibers, right? We use the best shampoo we can afford for our budget, and we use the best soap we can afford. It's not even about the price on the soap. It's about what has the least amount of chemicals to damage the fibers. That really is the most important thing. If you're going to use, for example, if you're going to wash something with bleach, bleach is a harsh chemical. It breaks down fibers, right? Have you ever tried to do spot cleaning on stains with bleach? If you don't dilute it, what happens? It literally eats through your fibers. I've done that on white jeans before. It was a disaster. Anyway, these are things that you don't know until you know. Then when you come along to something like Be So Clean, this is a super, super simple soap that is pure and natural, organic, has no harsh chemicals in it. It literally has the job of reacting with water to remove dirt and oil from fibers, so that when you rinse it, it will remove all those dirt and oils and you have your garment nice and clean. Isn't that wonderful? So it's highly, highly concentrated. You only need, if you're doing something in a sink, you only need a half a teaspoon. If you're not sure what half a teaspoon is, you can use a measuring spoon the first or second time. Once you do, you'll be able to eyeball it and say, oh yeah, that's just a squirt. So it's a squirt bottle. I'm going to fill this one time. So you can see it's just a little bit of a squirt. Put it in the water. Swish it around. You'll see it has no bubble because there is no foaming agent in there, which is another chemical that leaves a residue on fibers. So anything we could do to keep this pure and natural so that there were no sticky residues and nothing that's bad for the environment is what we went with. And so you want to place your item. Now if you were doing this in the house, which would be way more practical than coming outside with a bowl, right? This is about the size of doing this in the sink in the bathroom, right? Which is about a gallon of water. So we used a half a teaspoon of soap to a gallon of room temperature water, and you just want to give your garment a bath. Depending on how soiled your items are, you could, if they aren't very dirty, you could put two or three smallish items like this in a sink at a time. If it's something larger or it's something that is super dirty, I would just do one item. You could also, what was I going to say? On the larger items, you could also do it in a laundry bag in the washing machine. If you want to do something where use the washing machine but not have it agitate, what you can do is leave the lid up on the washing machine, put your handmade items in laundry bags. You can find big laundry bags on my website. Put them in the laundry bags, close them up, put them in the washing machine with a little squirt of soap, fill up the washing machine with the lid up so that it doesn't agitate. And what will happen is as the water fills up, you'll hear the water stop. And as it's going through the cycle, it's not going to agitate unless you close that door down. So as long as you keep the door, the door? Is it a door? No, the lid on the washing machine up, it'll just fill up with water. And then you will manually move that dial over to rinse and spin. So you want to avoid the whole agitation cycle. I'll take photos of this and maybe do a blog post about it, or maybe my laundry room is really small. I don't know if we could do a video in there, but if there's some interest in it, maybe we should. Let me see what's going on over here in the comments. How does everybody feel about doing a tutorial for what I'm talking about? Anyway, so let's go back. So then you would move it over to the rinse and spin, then close the lid, and it will literally just spin. It'll drain the water and then spin all the water out. So that's not agitating, that's spinning in one direction. And as it does that, you can open the lid, and then you have something that's not soaking wet, a little closer to damp wet, and then it's much easier to dry that way. So for larger items like handmade blankets or handmade sweaters, you can do it that way as well. Wendy, if you don't have a washing machine that won't fill with the lid open, it wouldn't work for your washing machine, unfortunately. But yes, if your washing machine works, it will fill with water with the lid open. This is a great technique for hand washing with the washing machine. Okay. You can watch, but you can't come up, okay? All right. Judy also mentioned that So Clean's great for washing hands. Absolutely. That's why we did the 2-ounce bottle, so that you could, this is very portable. You could put it in your purse. You could put it in your project bag. You can take it on the go, put it in a backpack, and have the ability to wash your hands in public without having to touch anything in a bathroom. Now, we talked about a 1/2 teaspoon for hand washing garments in a gallon of water. You only need a couple of drops to actually wash your hands with this. Couple of drops on wet hands. Wash your hands and rinse them, and you're good to go. Really wonderful for that as well. So great gift for anybody who does any traveling or somebody that works outside the house. Wonderful gift to have your own soap when you're having to go into public restrooms. So soaking in the bowl is about 10 minutes, maybe a little longer, like if something's super dirty. This isn't, so I'm going to remove it from the water. I'm going to squeeze out the extra water, no wringing. And we're going to give it a quick rinse in another bowl of water. And what's this? So what did the soap do? The soap loosened the dirt and oil from the fibers. And in order to actually remove that loosened dirt and oil, we need dirt and oils in it. So we'll just give it a quick rinse and squeeze out that extra water. Is this so exciting? We have a captive audience this morning. I wonder if you can see his ears. Becker's like, his eyes get really big when he's excited or nervous. All right, I've got my towels. They're right around the corner here. Okay, so now we're going to take this shawl and I'm going to flatten it out so we get more surface on the towel, and flatten it out on the towel and roll the towel up. Now, like I talked about yesterday, when you put something wet inside something dry, the water always wants to go to the driest spot, which is really great, because when you put a wet shawl inside a dry towel and you press on it, that pressing is going to remove a lot of the water from the shawl into the towel and give you a damp, not soaking wet shawl, which will dry quicker. All right, at this point, even though I say you can't wring something, you can put as much pressure as you want on this in one direction. So I'll even stand on it to try to express as much water out of the shawl and into the towel. Okay, let's move the bowls now and try not to spill anything like I did yesterday. Isn't this bar cool? this bar and set of 2-bar stools I found at a used furniture store many years ago, and I was like, that would be great for demonstration someday. And turns out it is. Okay, so let's move the towel, and I'm going to grab some of my other tools now. Where did I put them? Oh my goodness, I had them out here. Oh, I put them back here already. That's funny. And my pin cushion. Okay, all right, they were all back here already. All right, so the next tool we're going to use today, I might have to move these too, let's see. The next tool we're going to use today is blocking mats. And why do we use blocking mats? So, blocking mats are a great way to be able to pin, place, and, you know, suggest a shape, right? That's what we're doing when we're blocking. We're suggesting a shape that we prefer. And so being able to put the pins in a blocking board is very convenient. So let's say if you have hardwood floors or you have tile floors, you wouldn't be able to do it on the floor. If you have carpeted floors, you can put clean, dry towels down and pin your item onto the floor. You can do it on a spare bed also. It will work. Blocking mats, I feel, are more convenient than that, but you absolutely can do that if you don't have these. We're going to need 3 wide, so I am going to have to move some more stuff. So bear with me a second here. The blocking mats are really convenient for doing on the floor, but I don't think anybody wants to watch me crawl around on the floor this morning. So I'm going to try to do it on the table instead. See if I can get my belly through there. Okay. All right, so depending on the size of your shawl, you could need 3 mats wide, you could need 4 mats wide. These are 24-inch mats. And it looks like I'm going to dip into 3 wide. I'm not sure, and they're 24-inch squares, so they're 24 inches long as well. I may need to dip into a second mat down here, but we'll see. The next tool I want to show you, actually next 2 tools I want to show you are blocking wires and pins. So blocking wires, are they mandatory? No, you don't need them. Are they really cool and convenient sometimes? Yes. They don't work for everything. But what they do work for is eliminating the need for a ton of pins on a straight line. You can also do it on a curved edge, and I'll show you that when we get there. But for the moment, I want to show you how convenient they are for getting a smooth, straight line along the top edge of your shawl without having to pin every 1/2 inch or so. And even still, when you pin every 1/2 inch, you can, or even every 1/4 inch, you can imagine how many pins that is, number one. But number 2, you're still getting a little bit of a scallop. So I feel like when you can weave, so I start in the center here, starting at the top center, and I'm going to weave the wire in and out through those stitches along the top edge of the shawl. These blocking wires are 36 inches long, so one is not going to be enough to go along the whole top edge of my shawl, and that's why I'm starting in the middle. So even if the shawl isn't going to be 72 inches wide, but that's okay. If I start in the middle, I know I'll make it evenly out from both directions, and there'll just be a little bit of pin of the blocking wire sticking out on each side. So I'm going to weave this in and out. Unfortunately, I can't see comments while I'm doing this, so I apologize if you're not getting your questions answered. You can always, when I finish this one side, I'll pause from what I'm doing to go scroll through the comments quickly, and then from there, if your comment doesn't, or question doesn't get answered, always feel welcome to come back and leave a permanent comment on the video when it's been turned into a regular video, not a live stream. And I get notified from those comments all day as well. So every time you wash something, it loses its shape a little bit, and so it's always best to reblock it to its shape, desired shape, as you let it dry. And most things will keep that shape once it dries. Whatever shape you put something in while you were letting it dry is usually the shape it will stay in. Okay, we've made it to the edge here. So now with a pin, a blocking wire in there, I keep wanting to call it the pin. With the blocking wire in there, you can use like 3 pins instead of 50, which is nice. Okay, what kind of pins am I using? I'm using rust-proof T-pins. Why do we want them rust-proof? Because they're touching water, right? If you don't get the rust-proof kind, they will rust when they touch water. We're using something that's damp or wet, so it's important to use rust-proof pins. You can find rust-proof T-pins anywhere craft supplies are sold. I'm pretty sure I have some suggested sets in my Amazon. Same with the blocking wires. Okay, have I missed anything important? Let's see. Thanks, Judy, for sharing links. Okay, it looks like there's just side conversation going on. All right, well that either means that I'm being thorough, or it means that there's no questions, or it means people are saving their questions for later. Who knows? Anyway, let's get back here. So I'm going to go from the opposite direction here, and we're just weaving in and out. Hopefully I've picked this up enough that you can see what I'm doing here. So we've got that elongated, this is along the end of rows up here as well. So you can decide, are we going in and out of every row, every other row? And then when we get to that elongated drop stitch row, it changes things, right? It's so long that we're really just skipping it and weaving in and out of the shorter end of rows, which would be the other stitch pattern, with just knit stitches at the end of the rows. Does this all apply to crochet? Absolutely. This, once you make something, whether it's knit or crocheted, it's a piece of fabric that's made out of yarn, right? So anything we talk about here with a knit shawl would absolutely apply to a crochet shawl as well. I just picked this one today because I remember someone saying they were getting ready to block this particular shawl pattern yesterday. I thought, how fun would it be to do the same one she's wanting to learn how to block. Anytime I can do something custom and personal like that, I think that's really cool. Okay, when I finish this section also, I will take a look at the comments. I could even bring the camera over and show a close-up of all this too. Okay. I love using blocking wires for straight lines like this. Love it. Now, normally that would have taken me probably 50 pins to pin that line out perfectly, and now instead I use 6 pins for the whole top edge of the shawl. Let me see if there's any questions here, and then I'll grab the camera for a second. The shawl pattern is called the Bonita Beach shawl pattern. You can find it in my knitting pattern shop on my website. There is a video tutorial for it here on my YouTube channel as well. I totally pinned myself back there, could you tell? All right, so let's see if I can get, I can't see. I think that's a pretty good close-up, right? You can see the whole top edge there. See how nice and straight that's going to be? Was that a good close-up? Because I couldn't see at that angle. I couldn't even see. No, I'm wearing my clear glasses today. I don't wear these very often. For some reason, I seem to always go for the tortoise shell, like leopard print ones, but the 5-pack of glasses that I wear came in clear acrylic and blue acrylic, and then tortoise shell and black. Was it a good close-up? Yay! All right, wonderful. Yes, it is hot here, Sandshell. I'm probably one of the furthest south points in all of the United States. We're definitely in the tropics here. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can scoop this up just a little bit and try to get away with doing this tutorial on one set of blocking mats wide. I really don't want to add a second whole row of them because the problem is going to be that this table is not going to participate very well. So let's see if I move this all the way up. Can I get to the bottom here? No, I can't. Okay, I'm going to try something on the fly here to try to make this tutorial easier for you to see though. So let's just pretend that this is the closest, the furthest point here. So what we're going to do, let's lift this up also. It's going to be upside down, so bear with me for a second. What we're trying to do now, we got this top edge straight across the top. If you don't have blocking wires and you're going to manually pin this, what I always talk about is using your midpoint. So if we were to pin this top, and this is going to apply to how we pin the bottom now too, you would pin in the middle and at the far end of that top side. And then from those midpoints, then you continually create midpoints to make even precise pinning spots to get that straight edge. So once we did the middle, the side, and the side, then we'd go and find a midpoint between the middle, the middle point and the edge, and we'd do a midpoint. Then we'd find from here to here a midpoint, from here to here a midpoint, and we do that across the whole top edge. It ends up being fairly consistent and scientific in a way, a little bit mathematical, even though it's not difficult, and you get that smooth straight edge. Now, this also applies to doing a scalloped edge along the bottom because we still need to have symmetry coming down on both sides. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is we're going to start by pinning one time in the middle of each scallop, starting with the middle of the furthest point scallop and the middle of the bottom point, or the bottom V scallop, and the middle of the scallop over here. Okay, so the middle of each scallop. We will eventually come back and pin out the whole scallop, but we're working in midpoint. So now from the center bottom to the top here, we need to find a midpoint. So let's see how many scallops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 7. Okay, well that's easy to find the midpoint, that's the 4th one. So we'll find the midpoint of this scallop and pin it out. And then we'll find the midpoint of the middle scallop on this side as well. I think I did that right. Okay, and so now we're going to come back and find the midpoint in these 2 scallops. Well, there's 2 scallops in here, so we'll just find the midpoint of each one, and then we'll find the midpoint of these scallops here. Okay, this one's not going to work. We're going to run out of space. I'll do these off camera on the floor when I add a second row of mats, but for right now this is sufficient for showing you how to do this. So, ouch! Be careful you don't poke yourself with your pins like I just did. Okay, so then we'll find, so now we've found the middle of each scallop, and I'm going to lift the camera, or I'm going to lift the mats up again so you can see what I've done. Okay, just keep in mind that it's going to be upside down, but that's okay. Depending on where you stand on next to your mat, yours could be upside down too. Okay, so now, and I'll do a close-up of the whole thing once I'm done as well. So now what we want to do is work within a whole scallop. Okay, so now we've got, let's see if I can I could probably bring the camera closer and turn it down at this point, like we've done with tutorials at the other table. How is that? Is that better? Maybe? Come back. If someone could give me some feedback, I'll look at my computer now and make sure. Is that a good view of the scallops now? Can you, yes? Okay. Thanks, Thea. Yes, with an exclamation point. Wonderful. That's exactly what I want to hear. Okay, so now within this scallop, oh yeah, I can see too. Maybe lift it up just a little bit. Ah! My tripod lost its balance. Okay, I guess that's as good as we're gonna get. All right, so within the scallop, this particular pattern actually has little mesh pieces here, which makes this so much easier. It's actually almost foolproof. It tells you exactly where to pin, right? Because you've got these mesh pieces. If you don't, you would have to eyeball this a little bit, but that's okay too. Okay, and so we're actually going to pin out the whole scallop. So it's going to take a few pins, but that's okay. It'll be so worth it, right? It's not like this is something you have to wash every time you wear. It's worth taking the time so that you have this gorgeous, delicate edge. This also reminds me that this shawl would actually be a great candidate for beads along this edge too. Wouldn't it be great to see a bead in each one of those scallops? This is a relatively easy pattern to make if anybody hasn't made it yet. I highly recommend it as a fairly beginner project if you're new to knitting. There aren't a lot of complicated stitches involved. And if you're new to fine weight yarn, something else I would suggest is maybe making this shawl in a thinner weight yarn first, and then coming back, and once you're familiar with all the stitches, then make the shawl in the fine weight yarn. This is a one ball project in Be So Fine yarn, but if you wanted to practice it on one of my worsted weight yarns or Be So Baby yarn, the DK weight yarn, you would just want to maybe use a bigger set of knitting needles for the thicker yarn, and obviously it would take more yarn, but man, would it be cozy and beautiful, right? All right. Oh, I could just keep moving this down maybe so you can see more of them. Actually, so as you can see, I would just keep going and keep pinning all these out. These ones along here, I ran out of blocking space, so I'll have to add a second set of blocking mats along the bottom, but that's fine. I think you're definitely getting the gist of it from what I'm showing you here. But I should probably check and see if there's more questions now that we're moving along here. Okay. Yeah, I agree. This would be so beautiful in worsted weight yarn. The stitch pattern is so gorgeous, and the chevron, so it's a chevron stitch pattern and it's a half circle shawl. So you get this swooping half circle effect with a chevron pattern. This would be great in stripes too. Imagine doing one color for the elongated twisted stitch and then one color for the chevron stripe. So the chevron stripe in here is a more solid fabric done in a garter stitch base, and then that's offset with the stripe in the elongated drop stitch. And I think if you were to do that in two colors, that would be really gorgeous too. I also think that maybe you could skip the elongated drop stitch and just do the chevron stripe and then just do that in two colors. That would be really pretty as well. I think I've done something like that before. Could probably do it again for a sample. Okay, we are in the home stretch now. As you can see, this is a rather lengthy process, but you know, just like even with, we talk about this with weaving in ends, go put on some good music, go put a phone call on speakerphone with a friend, right? We have all sorts of technology nowadays to entertain ourselves during all sorts of tedious things. I love to talk on the phone when I'm emptying the dishwasher or I'm folding laundry. I love to talk on the phone when I'm doing stuff like this or putting on a show that I love or an album that I love. Oh, I sound old when I say that, don't I? I really don't put on albums. I turn on Spotify and I find an old album. So I don't literally put on an album, but you know what I mean. I put on all of the songs of an album. See if we can back this up a little bit. Hopefully it's okay. So I'm back on camera. I can read the comments now as well. So if anybody has any questions for me, now would be a great time. I apologize, we've gone over a little bit today, but you can see now that we have our gorgeous shape pinned out, and now as it sits out here to dry in this wind, it will dry really quickly. But I do want to point out, notice how I'm in the sun on this side. I'm definitely going to take this out of the sun for drying. We have very, very powerful sun here in Southwest Florida, and I will be taking this out of the sun so it does not bleach the color on part of the yarn. So I'm going to take the whole thing down. One other thing that I wanted to say about blocking mats though is now that it's up like this, in fact I'm going to show you, it does not have to take over the table. Look what I do with blocking mats sometimes. Once they're up, look at this. I just lean it up against a table. Isn't that great? So you can lean it up against a table or a wall, it doesn't matter. You can lean it up against anything, and then it doesn't take over the whole house while something's drying either. Isn't that great? That's another benefit to using the blocking mats. Yes, Linda, this is not a difficult pattern to make. And I have a pattern and also have a tutorial video, so all sorts of ways to help you get through the pattern. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah, it's really great to be able to lean it up against the wall. It takes up no space at all while it's drying, and you can still put a fan on it. It's really wonderful. I hope I was able to clear up some questions and some mysteries about blocking a shawl today. We could always do another one too. We can do a different shape another day, because we can do a different type of a border. There's all sorts of, we can show the different contrasts and differences and similarities between wire. Yeah, I only use wire across the top because there was so much detail along the bottom of this one. I felt like with all of the scallop detail and those mesh pieces, I thought that I was going to be much more accurate with doing it manually with pins along the bottom. But I can show you other shawls where the blocking wires can be helpful along the bottom edge, whether they have scallops or not. There are actually two ways to do that as well. And you can also use the wires along the bottom to just pin the points of scallops and then still manually go around them. So we could talk about this for a long time and get lots and lots of different variations to really teach as much about it as possible. Yeah, we'll do that another day, absolutely. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope that I helped demystify blocking shawls a little bit for you and demystify some of the reasons why we wash things and the differences between washing and blocking and why they are combined together. So always a good conversation to have, because when we hand make things, what's the most important thing after we finish making it? Having a lifetime of getting to enjoy them, right? And so the more you can take care of them, whether it's by choosing the safest soaps, choosing the safest washing and drying and blocking methods, there are always reasons to take care of things after you're done making them too. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy day. I appreciate you guys being here. If you like the podcast, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, there's a red button below. And oh, I forgot to tell you, we're going to have the part 1 of a 3-part video tutorial series starting today. The Margot pattern, which is available for purchase on my website, now has a 3-part video tutorial series that's going to live premiere every day after the podcast this week. So today at 10 a.m. the part 1 will premiere, then tomorrow part 2, and then Thursday part 3. So if you have a chance to join me live, we can chat about the pattern and I can answer any questions live during the tutorial. And then when it becomes a permanent video, if you can't make it for the live, you can always watch it anytime it's convenient for you and leave questions in the comments there. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, and if you get a chance, pop over in 20 minutes to join me for the live premiere of the Margot Part 1. If not, watch it whenever it's good for you. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.